Hi. So, ever since people from school found out about my pregnancy, people have been telling me that I should make a YouTube video. So, I am making a YouTube video. So I guess I'm just gonna tell y'all how, like, my story or whatever. Okay, so this is how everything started. So, it all began back in November of 2017, November 17th to be exact. That was when I first met my baby daddy. So he texted me on Snapchat, and we texted for a while, and then he's like, hey, you want to hang out? And I was like, yeah. So then we hung out, and this was over the Thanksgiving break week and stuff. So like before that, we didn't hang out at all at school, or even look at each other, or even talk to each other. I was in 8th grade. He was in 9th grade. I was 13. He was 14. We started hanging out every day of the Thanksgiving break, and then all of a sudden we went back to school and we were just hanging out, and like people were like, oh my god, what? And we were getting a lot of hate, or he was getting a lot of hate, because nobody likes me. Anyway, so yeah, so we didn't officially start dating until December 4th. So we were just dating, everything was fine, we were dating, and then a few days after Valentine's Day, February 17th, we had lost our virginity to each other. Weird, I don't know what I was thinking. I was just like, you know what, yeah, like, fuck it. And so we just did. And after the first time, it kind of just, like, TMI, but it kind of just, like, kept happening. And I don't know how my mom just, like, knew. Like, she just was asking me all the time. I was like, no. But then she was like, yeah. And then so I finally admitted to it, and she was like, let's go get you on birth control. And I was like, okay. So I went to go get birth control, and I was on birth control for like a year until January 2019. I got sick of having to just take a pill every single day. It started to make me feel sick, like my body was just rejecting it, and so I was just like, I want to switch birth control. I stopped taking that pill. Well, I went to the doctor first, and I stopped taking the pill, and they gave me a box of these patches that are another form of birth control that I was going to start on, and they were like, wait till your next period, and I was like, okay. I never got my period, and I thought it was because I had just quit birth control, because that is known to happen. Turns out it wasn't. So I was like starting to feel really weird. I kind of already had a feeling that I was pregnant. All these stuff, they're all pregnancy symptoms. I know that I'm pregnant. I'm gonna die. I was just having all these symptoms that were related to pregnancy. I went to the doctor because of the cramps I was having, and they were like, it's probably just a cyst, an ovarian cyst. And so I went to go get an ultrasound to see if I had a cyst, and they were like, if it's not a cyst, you probably have endometriosis. If it's not endometriosis, you probably have a UTI. And they just kept saying, I have a UTI, and I kept going to all these appointments, you have a UTI. I did not have a UTI, and I was like, I know that I don't. I got this ultrasound. I think it was before I even got pregnant, because they were like, you know, everything's fine, you're fine. You're not pregnant, and you're fine. I got tired of all this, and I'm just like, make me another appointment, Mom. And so she did, and they were supposed to do a pap smear. Before they do it, every time I go to the doctors, they usually like do a urine test for 1, a pregnancy test, 2, a UTI, and 3, for any other infections. And so I was just sitting there, and then the doctor walks in, and she had like this look on her face. She was like, and I was just like, just tell me already. So then the doctor was like, we don't need to do a pap smear today because you are pregnant. And I turned around to look at my mom, and I started crying. My mom just looked at me like, oh my god, like, what did you do? I used to think about this. I used to be like, oh my god, what if I got pregnant? And then I did. It wasn't the way I expected. It was really, really shitty. And my mom was just like looking at me, and she would not talk to me for like the rest of the week. She just wouldn't talk to me. And like, I was so sad because my sister, she got pregnant as a teen. And so I always told my mom, like, I'm not gonna end up like her. You're crazy. And then I did. And that's what made me feel so ashamed of myself, because I always said I wasn't gonna end up like her. And then I did. Like, for the next month after that, everything was so rocky with my family, and nobody wanted to talk to me. I was so scared. I didn't know what to do. As soon as I found out, I texted my baby daddy's mom. She found out, and she told my boyfriend. We're still dating now. We've been dating for like a year and a half. She told him so I didn't have to. As soon as she told him, they came to the house. He just looked at me all surprised. They made my appointment to do all these blood tests, and I went to that, and then they made an appointment so that I could hear the heartbeat, and I was 12 weeks at the time. So I'm 17 weeks now, and I have an appointment coming up next week. So basically that's kind of it. It's not as easy as I make it look. Like on my Snap, I'll just post all these things and I'll just like, yeah, I'm happy, I'm okay. This pregnancy has been an emotional roller coaster for me. Like, I cry all the time. I just feel so freaking depressed. But I am learning to cope with it so that it doesn't lead into postpartum depression, because that can be very bad. These 17 weeks have just been, I'm not gonna lie, hell. I'm gonna be completely brutally honest. If I could take this back and undo it, I would. Mainly because of my age, but also because all these emotions and all these things and all this shit that just gets thrown at you from all these people. It's like you don't even know what's going on, so why the hell do you think you can just tell me all this stuff? Now I don't even let it get to me. When it first got out at my school, like, everybody was talking about it and everybody was talking about me. I did not want to go to school, and it sucked. Even now people still talk about me, but it doesn't really bother me anymore. So I also just want to say that when I did find out I was pregnant, abortion was not an option. I wouldn't judge another woman for getting an abortion, because it's understandable. If a woman feels like they can't take care of a baby, they can't take care of a baby. It's a huge, huge responsibility. It just takes a lot of energy from you. You're creating a life, and not all women have the strength and the patience and the time to just do that. So I understand other women getting abortions, but if I were to ever get one, I honestly would hate myself. I never picture myself getting an abortion. Adoption wasn't really an option either, because I just, like, as much as I would love to help other families who are infertile and just, they can't have babies, I would not want to spend 9 whole months in hell getting all this stuff thrown at you and wasting all this energy putting it into your baby and growing a human in my stomach for 9 months so that I can pull it out of my vagina and give it to somebody else. I don't want to do that ever. So that wasn't an option either. In my head, the only option I had was to keep it and to raise it and to just do what I can. And so that's what I'm doing. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I might be uploading another video, like, as an update or just something, I guess. I don't know yet. So that's my story. And yeah, bye.